it's not always that straightforward. But if you're asking me if he is the GOAT, I'm going to say yeah, I think he is. When you look at his achievements, his longevity in the game, and it's not that obvious as well the things he does. He just does the little things really really well. So I remember they were talking that Benji Marshall might retire, and if they were to do sort of a highlights package of his career, you'd see a whole lot of flick passes and all these amazing things. But if you do a highlights career package of Cameron Smith, you're just going to see, a lot of dummy half passes right on the guy's chest, just doing the basics really well. But he's won more games than anyone. He's made more finals appearances, most origins, and when you consider his eliteness for the longest period of time, yeah, I think he's the GOAT. I've did this analogy before where if you compare him to other sports, like Tom Brady is the GOAT of NFL, and just he outlasted a lot of people, and he was great for the longest time. He had the most Super Bowl rings and the most wins and all these other categories. And Cameron Smith, if you look at his trophy cabinet and all his achievements, he's got something that no one else can really match. And I also think, like, if I look at rugby, McCaw, who's got the most the most tests and the most test wins and 2 World Cups as captain. There's a similar sort of trophy cabinet and all the rest of it. So yeah, if you use those analogies, I think he is the GOAT in my eyes anyway.
Nice, man. Sam,
Yeah,
what's your
I
cause?
actually think it's a tough one for me. I've never been a fan of Cameron Smith, um, and I'm not much of a comparing codes, but I think to ask an Australian if Richie McCaw was a goat, to us, yeah, he was. But to an Australian, they'll call him a cheat. Really good at talking to the referee, being an extra referee, thinking he knows all the rules. That's how I look at Cameron Smith.
Yep.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for him as a player, and because he's done it, and I'm still sitting in at home. But I, yeah, I'm a New South Wales fan, and I've never liked him. And yeah, no, I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know. Like I guess a lot of people, yeah, would call him the goat, but I can't. I still think, even though Thurston is a Queenslander, I still think Thurston as a player, even at different positions, um, was a lot better than Cameron Smith. Shucks, I don't know if that was right, but yeah, that's how I feel.
Oh, nice. No, everyone. I guess that was a pretty good analogy you used. How Australians look at Richie McCaw and how they would look at our players because they've got their own views as well. Um,
Mm.
Royston, what about you, bro? Where do you put Cameron Smith in the goat in the goat conversation?
All I want to say is it's about time. Get out of here. Nah, he's just too good. But to have him the goat, that's a tough one. How do you judge being the goat though? Do you judge by how many daily M's, how many proven whatever medals or super boots or how do they judge that? Do they go by how many tackles careers, or is it down to how many um, plays, amazing plays to win matches? But I think he's up there, but I think he's got a big battle with Thurston in my mind. Even though I don't like them both, but yeah, Thurston will probably be up there somewhere. I'll probably tip Thurston though, in my opinion.
I'm quite shocked because all you boys are New South Wales boys. I thought you would have been between Cameron Smith and Joey Johns because if you listen to my older brother, he despises Cameron Smith. He takes every chance he can get to slander him. I'll say that. I'll say that out loud. But in saying that, where's Joey Johns then? Because I thought as New South Wales loyalists, loyal guys, I thought he would have been on par with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stace. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he is to me. To me, like Thurston is down the ladder. It's a 2 horse race between Johns and Cameron Smith. But I just put Cameron Smith ahead for the longevity factor. Like Joey was good in his heyday, but it was sort of a shorter career, not through some issues of his own. He had career-threatening injuries, but just to be elite for almost 2 decades, that's quite an achievement. And just for that reason, I put him ahead. I like how he could control the tempo of a game because he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest, and all the rest of it. But his ability to control the tempo from dummy half, and when you consider that the hooker touches the ball more than anyone, so he's probably had the most influence on a game than we've ever seen. No one's influenced the game more than him, I think, in my opinion, and that holds a lot of weight as well. And one of the things why I don't like these GOAT arguments is because sometimes you have to sort of put down another player to make your point, and I'm going to do that for Thurston. If you consider that defense is 50% of the game, Thurston, for all his greatness, and he is great, his defense wasn't the best, and he would always be sort of high up in the missed tackles and those types of stats. Whereas at least with Thurston, with Joey and Cameron Smith, they were good on both sides of the ball, and to me that sways it a little bit in their favour. So I'm giving it to Cameron Smith on the longevity, just over Joey, who was also an outstanding player.
What about you, Sammy?
Yeah. Oh, I've just. Yeah, no, I'm just, to be honest, I'm just happy to see him go. Like,
Yeah,
like
me
the
too.
same way I was happy when Billy Slater left, and to see the three leave Queensland, I was just super happy. But no, I definitely agree with Stacey. Like in regards to he's been in there for quite some time and can't see anybody else doing it like he did. But
Right.
I just think I've just never been a fan of his. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I think also for me as a New South Wales guy and someone who doesn't really support Melbourne, it was hard for me to pick him as the GOAT. But if you separate the emotion and just look at what he's achieved and all the rest of it, and just sort of take, the fact that I can't stand him as a player out of it, then, it's hard to argue against his accomplishments, to be fair.
Yeah. I was like that with Billy Slater. Like my son would ask me, who was a good fullback, and yeah, Billy Slater. But I'll just say it quietly, like,
Yeah, I think also it's testament to Smith and also the Melbourne Storm sort of system that, Billy Slater's probably one of the best fullback we've ever seen. And when he retired, you think, oh, well, the Storm's going to go down. But Smith was still there and Cronk was still there. And they were still able to maintain a high standard. And even when Cronk left, you think, oh, well, that should be the end of the Storm. That's two of the big three gone. But Smith was still there and he was able to pull the strings. And he was the most influential, in my opinion, of those three in that big three. So I think as long as he was there, they were still always going to be good.